First and foremost, I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for him, this would not be possible. Low Nose Boxing. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to my channel. Recently, Oscar De La Hoya came out and said that he urges for Gervanta Davis to take on the other four kings. The other three of the four kings, which is Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. Right? He's urging for Gervanta Davis to unify and take on his rivals, take on his nemesis. And you already know my gimmick, man. Low Nose Boxing, the past, the present, the future. I'm a historian, so this is my opportunity to bring you up to speed on Oscar De La Hoya. For all the fans that probably wasn't watching boxing back in the 90s, early 2000s, Oscar De La Hoya was the type of fighter that took on anybody. He had no picks. He fought the best competition. And a lot of people would say that Oscar De La Hoya lost his biggest fights, but I beg to differ. You see, whenever you're fighting everybody and anybody, you're going to take losses. But to say that Oscar De La Hoya lost all his biggest fights, that's cap. Oscar De La Hoya won some big fights. He beat Ike Quartet. He beat Fernando Vargas. He beat Pernell Whitaker, Julio Cesar Chavez, Gennaro Hernandez, Rafael Ruelas, John Molina. He beat some tough contenders like Obakar. He beat Daryl Coley. He beat Yuri Boy Campus. He beat Hector Macho Camacho. So don't tell me that Oscar De La Hoya didn't win big fights. He lost to Floyd, yes he did. He lost to Manny Pacquiao, yes he did. He lost to Trinidad, yes he did. And that was a questionable loss. He lost to Shane Mosley, but the second fight was highly questionable. So Oscar De La Hoya is not the type of fighter that lost all his big fights. He lost to Bernard Hopkins. The man challenged himself. And Oscar De La Hoya was doing this as the cash cow of boxing, meaning that he could have picked and choose, but he fought everybody he had to fight for the most part. There's a couple of fights that he probably never got a chance to have, and boxing is like that, you know what I mean? Every single era, there's going to be some fights that we could have had that we just never got a chance to have. And that's a video I'm going to make, by the way. But with that being said, Oscar De La Hoya, I'm going to give you an example of how tough, how much courage, how bold Oscar De La Hoya was, right? He took on Ike Bazooka Quartet. At the time, Ike Bazooka Quartet, going into that fight, he was stripped of his WBA welterweight title. He was stripped of that title because Quartet chose to not fight the mandatory, because the mandatory was an unheralded, no-name fighter that Ike Quartet was not interested in fighting. And he decided to get stripped. And Oscar De La Hoya still took that fight without the fight being the unification. Oscar De La Hoya took that fight knowing that he was in a weight class where he could have just waited for a Felix Trinidad mega fight down the road, which he eventually engaged in 3 or 4 fights later after the Ike Quartet fight. He could have avoided that fight. Ike Quartet, if he would have been fighting today, Ike Quartet would have been probably the most avoided fighter in boxing. Picture a Subriel Matias with a jab, with a bazooka-like piston jab, with better defense, better all around. That's what Ike Bazooka Quartet was. And he spoke no English, so it's not like he was a superstar, because he wasn't. Ike Quartet was a dangerous fighter, and Oscar De La Hoya took that challenge on as the face of boxing. It's not like he had to, he chose to. What Oscar De La Hoya did is the equivalent of if Gervanta Davis would have fought Devin Haney at 135, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, Vasil Lomachenko, Tevin Farmer, Gary Russell. That's what Oscar De La Hoya did. And no, this video is not to put Gervanta Davis down in any way, shape, or form. Gervanta Davis is still only 28 years old. Gervanta Davis has the skills and talent to beat anybody he gets inside the ring with. All I'm saying is Oscar De La Hoya wants Gervonta Davis to step up and take on these challenges. And I would love to see that happen because Gervonta Davis has the ability to be a top 2, top 3, or even number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Hopefully we get the fights that we want to see in boxing, man. Gervonta Davis is the face of boxing in America, and it's time to get the fights, you know. Teofimo, Devin Haney, those guys are taking on killers. Shakur Stevenson, accumulating accolades. He tried to get these tough fights, but he was avoided. Oscar De La Hoya led by example, man. That's somebody you got to watch. Despite his outside the ring stuff and all that, no. I'm going to give Oscar De La Hoya his flowers. He was a certified legend, beyond a shadow of a doubt. So with that being said, thank you for tuning into this history lesson. This is Low Nose Boxing. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to my channel, Low Nose Boxing, because Low Nose Boxing, I'm out. Oh yeah, by the way, Oscar De La Hoya was also a 6th Division World Champion. Forgot to put you on to that. Once again, I'm out.